So here we're going to factor perfect square trinomials, and there's some steps you want to go through in your mind. If you notice if the first term is a perfect square, and it is. This is 2 is being squared, and also y is being squared. So 2 and y are both squared in the first term. So is the last term a perfect square? Yes, it is. That's the same as 3 squared. And then is the middle term, 12, twice the product of the square roots of the first and the second term? So in that first term, we said that we are squaring 2y, right? In the second term, we're squaring 3. So it's saying twice the product of the square root of our first term and our second term. Let's see if that equals 12y. 2 times 2 times 3 is 12, and we have a y. So that's true as well. So since this is all true, what you do is you take what is being squared in our first term, what's being squared in our second term, and that's what goes inside our parentheses. But unlike the difference of squares, we don't have one be plus and one minus. It's either they're both pluses or they're both minuses. And since our middle term is going to be a positive 12, then these must be adding, must be plus. In the end, you can always double check it and make sure. If we want to multiply this, we get 4y squared. Multiply this, we get 6y. Here we get 6y. And here we get 9. And when we combine those like terms, we see 4y squared plus 12y plus 9. It checks out. So this is our factored form right here. Let's try another one. This one, instead of writing out the questions, it looks a little different, but the same deal. If I look at my first term, I want to know what is being squared. 64 is 8 squared, and then x squared, I'm squaring x. So what's being squared? An 8 and an x. And then let's look at the last term. What is being squared? 81. That's the same as 9 squared. So then you look at the middle term. We want to know if it is twice the first term times the last term that's being squared. So let's see. 2 times 8 times 9. I'm going to have to get out my calculator. 2 times 8 times 9. Yep, that is 144x. So it works. So now we're going to put it in the factored form using the 8x and the 9. We need to recognize if it's going to be plus or if we're going to be doing subtraction. Since our middle term, we know when we add our two middle terms together after we multiply and do FOIL, that it needs to be a negative number. So that means that we should be using our minus. So I'm going to put 8x, 8x, and then the 9 and the 9. This is very similar to the difference of squares, but we're taking into account that middle term because it didn't cancel out because both are either plus or both are minus.